I'm Genevieve Bargello.
And I'm Eileen Genevieve.
And this is CFB News.
The Beautification Association Lawn Awards has crowned a first-place lawn belonging to Mrs. Edna Edgars. Designed in the inspiration of Europe but with an American lens, this lawn was beautiful, gorgeous, and outshone the competition. Mrs. Edna Edgars said that this win was not just appreciated, but tasted sweet, like revenge. There is history here, as Mr. Edgars, her husband, that they are separated but not divorced, was actually also competing, and he was last year's winner due to his son, who had won first place, getting disqualified due to a new rule that dictated that tree houses do not count as lawn decorations. Mr. Edgars really tried hard with a new video series trying to be Mr. Rogers. However, unfortunately, the association deemed that most of the content and things he provided in his yard were not suitable for the public and did not align with the Lawn Beautification Association guidelines. Therefore, we are very excited for Mrs. Edna Edgars to be winning this prize. However, there's still more to unravel within this story. On the scene is Genevieve Bargello.
Yes, funnily enough, this is a bit of a family affair. Edgar Edgars Jr., the son of Edna Edgars and Edward Edgars, was recently released from a holding cell, zipline-based code violations. Interestingly enough, his bail was paid by the Misty Brook Cove Retirement Community Kingdom. This is due to the fact that Edgar Edgars Jr. has now been hired as the consultant for the Lines of Zip It. This is a new attraction that will be added to the Misty Brook Cove Retirement Community Kingdom, where residents will be able to zip line about safely. Hopefully, this will give Edgar Edgars Jr. a safe outlet for his ziplining fantasies. This has been CFB News. Breaking news. That's right. You thought CFB News was over, but we're back. We're back in the station, and we're here to talk all about what really goes down behind the scenes. Hi, it's me, Felicia, breaking the scoop on what's going down at CFB News.
And it's me, Elaine, eating the scoop that has been broken down for me because I have tiny teeth. Thank you. We're excited today. First off, I would like to report there is a grown dog that is lounging in my lap, kind of against my will. I am currently dog sitting, and this dog is obsessed with me. So there might be some jostling that just happened, for example.
Yeah, Elaine is surrounded by 5 animals. And,
5?
It won't be surprising if there is an interruption. Now, my single cat is staring at me very intensely, but has not left his position from the couch, so I think we might be safe this episode. But I say that every week, and yet I end up recording from my bed. So
cat's got your tongue,
it's
or cat's got your microphone? This has been our intro. Thank you.
Distinct from CFB News. That was a different character.
That was different. That was us being newscasters. See, we could have done it in another life. I think we would have killed the local news. Are you kidding me? We would have. Yeah. The spice we would have added. Which, shout out to the local news people. Come on.
I've got the voice. I could do it.
Oh, I was like, this is the voice. I was
voice
like, whoa.
of a generation.
I could totally love to host a reality show, which is not the same as news, but
You'd be better at that.
Oh my God. Get me in there. But, we get to go into a different behind the scenes room of filming and such, because we're going into CFB News and we're going to finally break down sort of the organization of it. We don't really have a framework at all planned, but I do think it'd be fun to maybe start with a staff meeting. Maybe that would be a good place to kind of break down the main people we want to focus on, which we know a lot about Eileen and Genevieve kind of at this point. So they'll definitely be popping in and out. But we want to explore who else is at this organization.
Some brief reminders. Eileen is kind of a Nepo baby, right? I mean, not really, but she's just kind of been with the station so long.
Yes. And
she's stuck there.
Yeah. Okay, this is good. Eileen is a local.
She's tenured if you could be.
Yes. She's a local. She knows everything about Clatfartburg. She's basically been there forever. I mean, she started a yearbook. She's just been basically it just made sense for her to do it. She has a younger sister named Kathleen, who's a Trout Scout. And when it came to the Trout Scout badge to choose which, to go be like, oh, I want to do this aspirational thing. She wanted to be a news reporter, but Kathleen chose to go with Genevieve. This caused a big disruption. And then most notably, Eileen is not well articulate. She doesn't really know how to string words together, which isn't great for a news reporter. She did get some lessons, though. She at least learned a little bit more about diction. You know, from the community theater when she was she thought she was breaking into the thing in the woods we do not speak of, and she went through the back door, and they thought she was an extra for Les Mis, so they dressed her up as a corpse, and she just had to lay on stage, not fully knowing what was going on.
I forgot that was the origin of her diction.
Cole and Dale kiss while the audience applauded. Anyway, so she's going through it, but yeah, that's kind of Eileen's vibe, and Eileen and Genevieve do not get along with each other. But yeah, remind us of Genevieve.
Genevieve has been exiled to Clatfartburg. She was at like a local but major cities news, and she was the home and gardens correspondent, but she got fired after she tried to pass off a scarf, I think a scarf or a sweater from Zara as handmade.
Yes.
So now she's in Clatfartburg. So that's her.
Yeah, she's not like thrilled about it.
No, she's not thrilled about
a lot of the Clatfartburg stuff. So.
Yeah, she definitely thinks she's better at this job, and she definitely thinks she's better than Eileen at the bare minimum.
And she tends to. There have been times she has pissed off the public.
Yes, many times.
So it's happened a lot. So yeah, it's not
the only
good
other
reporting.
Lore I'm remembering is that Herbert Barge used to work at the news.
Yes, and this was before they had visuals.
They had cameras. Yeah, so what they did is they just put text on a blank screen. That was what they did.
They made newspaper, but more complicated.
Yes, essentially. It was just like a really nice PowerPoint.
This was a thought I had, Felicia.
Okay.
What if it's we're preparing a news piece and it's to celebrate like the 20 years, like Herbert Barge, like whatever his like year tenure is. That like he's not part of anymore, but they're like
or maybe just 50 years of CFB News to celebrate.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and like Herbert's part of it, and that way we kind of get to like look at the. Sorry, the dog is about to eat a $5 bill. No, what? Girl, it's money. What the hell? Oh my god! Never in my life have I experienced that. Don't wag your tail at me. Oh my god. Okay, well, everyone, get out your bingo sheets. The first dog interruption has occurred. Okay.
I mean, it's a novel dog interruption.
That was interesting. And look, it's not my $5. So, but I'm not about to make her a piggy bank.
The dog was taking a tax.
So maybe she was like, my parents left me, so these $5 are for me, and I will be buying my own biscuits. So.
Thank you.
But yeah, we're celebrating 50 years of CFB News. And I imagine their news station it's the classic, it's one floor brick building that's just kind of like shoved in a kind of. It doesn't necessarily look ugly. It just looks very much like that building is a company building for whatever. And they have their mega satellites outside and all that stuff. So I think we can pop into that staff meeting.
Yeah.
And kind of look around. So obviously we got Genevieve and we got Eileen. And I think we've got that weatherman.
Yes.
Got the weatherman. Who? I don't know. I did a voice at one point, and I'm not holding us to that because I don't remember it.
Yeah, and I think we said a name at one point, too, but we're not holding ourselves to it. And I think we said it's not canon at the time.
It's not canon at the time. No. The weatherman, maybe they have trouble keeping a weatherman.
Oh,
maybe that's something they struggle with.
For the weatherman.
High turnover. Interesting. And it could be like for different reasons, too. It's not just necessarily, oh, this job sucks. It's like they learned something about the person. The person gets poached by Faxville. There's just some like curse basically on the weatherman role, and they can't keep him, which is so vital for a local news station. The weatherman is like the personality that you're supposed to have.
I know. I mean, Genevieve and Eileen, they have personality, but it's not really a welcoming one.
Yeah, and it's not supposed to be showing through. It's not very professional the way that they've sometimes let it come through. So yeah, they definitely have their own personality, but they weren't like, that wasn't supposed to be their hire for. So maybe they're like, the station's like, okay, let's get somebody, who would be a good person? What about a really bad stand-up comic who needs a steady job and an outlet for their jokes, but we know we can probably keep them for longer because they're so bad they're not going to get picked up anywhere or like go viral and have success, but maybe it's enough that people will be interested to listen to the news. Like, could that work? We don't know. I think that's one of the applications we have. Do you have any other dreams and wishes for...
I like bad stand-up. I think bad stand-up... I mean, isn't every weatherman a bad stand-up, if we're being honest?
I think some of them are very well in the lane they're supposed to play. Yes. I think a lot of them are very good with the playful weatherman joke thing. Like Al Roker, great, but you take Al Roker out of weatherman, and if he was like, I'm a comedian, we'd all be like...
That's a good point. Yeah, because there's a real joy about Al Roker being assaulted by a man wearing a butter costume.
Oh my God, or the time he like just was like, yeah, I pooped myself at the White House. That was really like America's sweetheart right there. That, like,
the jokes have to be based on puns. Maybe this guy's really into crowd work.
Yes, he's
a crowd work comedian.
So he's always like, okay, I need to go outside to go do the weather. And they're like, okay, I guess that makes sense. We can like pop the like a little green screen graphic like over you or whatever if need be if you're out there. And then, he's just like, and people in Clatfartburg do not want to like interact with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll be like, okay, yeah, today's weather is, it's going to be, hey. I saw you're wearing a pink t-shirt. Are you a fan of Pink the artist? That's so funny. And everyone's like, what the fuck? He gets way too personal. He's like, hey, what's in your purse? And I was like, I would like to not... Can you please... Is that a camera?
Well, it'd be good if you'd have some sunscreen because it's supposed to be 85 and sunny this weekend.
And he's like taking her purse. She's like, please stop. And this is how... And it's so easy because now we see his demise. He's going to get arrested. Probably not actively doing anything bad, but you cannot be trying to take people's belongings on the street and forcibly showing them on camera and being that invasive. So he's going to be bad PR. So we know his demise already. He's probably they've already put him on a PIP. So he's probably got like a week left. Yeah. So he's in this staff meeting, his feet are on the table.
Yeah.
Spread wide.
Can I give you a name I thought of?
Oh yeah, give me a name.
Paul Bossanova.
Paul Bossanova. Indeed. I love it. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Paul Bossanova. We're heading to the streets of Clatfartburg and we're going to talk about, that's right, clouds. Let's go over here. We're going to go talk to the vape shop. Now, here in the vape, they got a lot of clouds, so let's go talk. Hey, bro, hey, can you share your vape? And then he just starts vaping on. He's like, oh, no, this is very interesting. Now, how often are you vaping? Do you feel cooler about it? I think I feel cool. Hey, what's your parents' situation? Married? Divorced? Oh, yeah, you seem like a child of
It was
divorce.
A bit of a chilly split. Well, that's interesting because this week's going to be a bit of a chilly split. Oh, the first half of the week's cold and the rest half of the week is warm.
I just want to go home. Get off my vape pen. You shouldn't vape anyway, right? Because it hurts the ozone layer. And ozone layer, that sun, you'll see the sun graphics coming through. It is getting warmer. And on the back half, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just here because I experience weather. And every time before the camera cuts, there's like that like second, and you just watch him die. You watch him fold in on himself.
I think they have a meteorologist in-house who's just really camera shy.
Yeah.
Like they have a meteorologist who's in-house who is doing all of the actual scripting. But these weathermen are not doing that, you know?
Yeah. Benny with the pens. That's what they call him because he's Benny and he has a lot of pens. He prizes on his pen collection, really hates when people try to borrow a pen from him. Just because he has a lot of pens doesn't mean he has to loan them to you. They're his pens. Okay? And he likes to draw little detailed doodles and notes of what's going on. He tries to write these notes for our Paul Bossanova over here, and they just crinkle them up and throw them away. And he's like, I wrote that with my really fancy like 3.5 ballpoint pen that is like crested with gold and lives in a little
you got that many pens, you compensating for something?
What are you saying? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Are you jealous of my pens? I have big pens. Look at my pens. Look how many pens fit in my pants.
I got this giant one when Staples closed down. They were selling it on sale.
Hey, this one has a good clicker. Ooh, it's a good feel. You can't touch it. Don't get away. Paul Bossanova, I'm calling. Director, hello, I'm sitting in your office, Director. I need to get Paul Bossanova. I need a restraining order within 5 feet of my desk. He's after my pens. I can sense it. He's salivating when he sees that ink flow. Okay.
And maybe this is really Paul Bossanova's downfall because they cannot lose Benny with the pens.
Absolutely not.
Benny and the pens. Benny. Betty and the Pants. They do that at the Christmas party.
There's just any karaoke song they can fit Betty Pence in there.
Betty with the Pants. Yeah, so I think Paul Bossanova, they've had so many weathermen. I think Cole Papageno did it for 2 days. Like, it's so many people. They had
no one, and they needed someone to fill in, and so he just was making drinks while talking about the weather. And honestly, it was probably, like, the best time it's been. It's not his vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I just got brighter dreams than this, guys. Yeah, no.
I need to go be a bartender on a boat. That's where I really want to be. Also, there's this cool ghost tour coming up, and I think it's going to really change my life.
He was like 18 doing it.
Yeah. My goal is I just want to live in the side gig culture.
He was wearing his high school lacrosse t-shirt. He played lacrosse, right?
Yes. He played, yeah, it was lacrosse. It was lacrosse, yeah, because we had gone back and forth on the weird sport. Yeah, 100% he was. Yeah, he this was before.
I don't think we ever actually said he played lacrosse. I just got really affected.
We've talked about somebody doing a weird sport. He had like a sport vibe, I think. So it fits.
The sport is lacrosse. I've decided.
It fits if it is indeed.
So yeah, Paul Bossanova, he's interesting. I don't think he's from Clatfartburg. I think he's from a slightly neighboring town too, which people don't like.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the week they had Bertha LaCouscous doing it. Experimental.
Yeah, it was hard. You really had to pay attention. You couldn't be in the other room listening. You had to staring at that screen.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you're just looking at the little patterns on the screen, they kind of liked that because they were like, at least she's on the green screen and I can see the town. Like, that's helpful. You know what I mean? That's true.
Well, and it was really fun when they'd be like, oh, strong wind gust today. And then she was acting like she was getting blown away. You know, that was fun.
That's pretty good. It's
shivering.
Oh, it's a good bit, but it gets old on day 3.
Yeah. And the cameraman's just like, I'm so sick of having to like shift the camera to whatever she's doing. So it's rough. I like the idea that at some point everyone has done it. Like maybe during the campaign for mayor, Mrs. Parsnip did it to try to get some like the adult vote possibly, which she was lacking, which is unfortunate.
It's like a thing in Clatfartburg where it's like, never have I ever been the weatherman, and half the hands go down.
Yeah.
Like most people have taken a turn as weatherman.
Yeah. This is the unfortunate thing perhaps of a small town of ambiguous size.
Yeah.
You know.
Everywhere I look, somebody once was the weatherman.
There's the one time we had a beautiful weatherman for 5 hours, but we don't talk about him anymore. We've erased him from the narrative. He did us dirty. He went on to national. Goddamn. Rick Cantori, we'll say it. It was him. He started here. He was talking about how lakes were a little bumpy, and now he's out there doing the hurricanes. He started here.
Me Googling Rick Cantori.
Oh my gosh. I might have gotten the name wrong. Is it Brian?
Jim Cantori.
Jim Cantori. There we go. I was like, Rick sounded Jim Cantori. He's ours. That's ours. Jim Cantori. He was here for 3 hours. Okay. He was passing through town and we needed somebody to fill it and he offered to do it and it was the most beautiful weather that ever happened. He predicted a rainbow. That fucking happened and then he left. And now we're just going to have to live with the suckins for the rest of our lives.
Maybe there's a group of people who believe that the weatherman does kind of control the weather a little bit. So you get hated on pretty hard.
Same people who had like roach clackers and shit. I think so.
You've manifested it.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to yoga. Before we start, let's all close our eyes. Now, we have a need for some sunshine this weekend because someone's getting married. So I want us to all think positive thoughts. And just remember, if you have a negative thought or you go, maybe it will rain, and it does rain, you ruined Lorraine's wedding. You're the one who did it. You ruined it because our actions have powers and you will have fucked everything up. So just namaste in.
And her brother-in-law, Paul Bossanova, did predict rain for the weekend.
So.
And if it does rain, we'll know who to blame.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Paul Bossanova, check. Weatherman, hot mess, check. Everyone's been it. Cannot wait to explore that in future potential episode situations. Now, somebody I think that I would like to suss out a little bit, I don't know if he's at the staff meeting right now, but Eric the cameraman has come up recently in the news segments. He tends to be the cameraman that's with Eileen, but I think it probably just depends on location and stuff. I imagine Eric is Josh Duhamel. I don't know how to spell that. Used to be married to Fergie. He's in When in Rome. I'm sure other movies.
Wow. That's a really chiseled cameraman.
I really imagine Eric is hot.
Okay.
Eric's really hot, but he's super quiet.
Okay.
Because he's a cameraman. That's his whole vibe. So he's really good at sneaky walking and walking very evenly. Like he's got good balance.
He's light-footed like one of the cats from Cats?
Yes.
I don't know why that's the description I went for, but...
Well, what if he had to take a theater class at one point just to get an art credit and he thought that'd be the easy way, but it was like the Cats semester, so we took cat classes. He was in a touring production
of Cats and he won't tell anybody about that.
Oh, he's a beautiful dancer.
Oh my God.
You gotta look at those man's glutes.
You have not lived until you've seen Eric the cameraman as Mr. Mustapheles.
Well, and this is why he's part of the Faxville Repository Theater. He'll pop in there just to get it out, and then he kind of can't do it anymore. He's a little bummed because now people know about it, and he's like, this was like my safe thing, but like, I don't know. And he's always afraid. He knows he's behind the camera, but he's so near the camera. What if people start to know him? And Eileen keeps calling him out by name. He's asked him multiple times. And Eileen had
such a fucking breakdown when she opened her eyes as a corpse on the floor, and right next to her was a dead Eric the cameraman.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Deeply confusing.
Was he wearing an open buttoned shirt and she maybe saw him in a different light than she'd ever had? Because the camera was always focused on her. But then after a while, she was like, am I looking into the camera or am I looking into Eric's eyes? And that really just sort of changed some of her.
Because is the camera not anything but a robot eye connected to a human eye?
Right? Like she sometimes, it's like when people leave Love is Blind, like, oh, should we just go back to the pods? And sometimes they'll like have conversations where someone's sitting on another side of the wall in their apartment and they try to have conversations again. And it's great. Like sometimes she's like, maybe if I talk to Eric, but he has to have the camera up. Like if he puts the camera down, that's too, I don't know, real. That's weird.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
It's too vulnerable. I need to be, and so she's kind of working through that because it's just like, the people who are like subtle hot and then suddenly they do something, you're like, holy God, what? What? That's her moment right now. So Eric's super hot. He's a great dancer. But he decided, he's too shy and he got really into film. It seemed like the perfect way to still be in the arts sector and but not have to be, up front, but still get to have a creative vision. Now, Clatfartburg News, is that really it? Maybe not. But
it's a unique way to put his talents to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He gets health insurance through this job.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gathering is everyone is doing this job so they can hopefully pursue their dreams elsewhere.
Yeah.
And nobody is actually
except for Eileen. And that's why they'll never fire her. Genevieve, I don't think will leave because it's a point of pride to her because she's like, I got exiled out here and I'm going to become the fucking star is what she thinks.
Yeah.
She's very Miss Piggy about the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's giving boss energy. She is, probably pitching a lot of
she wants to be Miranda Priestley so bad and it's not happening
for her. Yeah that's what she does on her nights alone when she's wearing her little like jumpsuit eating her froyo. She's just watching that on repeat to get her inspiration, and it's like good inspiration. I mean, we see elements of it come through. So we all have our power thing, we all have the thing we do. Some of us it's guys and dolls. Some of us it's Maurice.
It's guys and dolls for you?
No, it used to be, but I don't think that's like my. I was just thinking of like I don't really rewatch movies, so if I had to think of a movie that inspires me,
Pride and Prejudice,
stuff,
you rewatch all the time, right?
That's true. I end up in a lot of rewatching situations with that one, and then Eurovision Song Contest, the Fire Saga. Is a movie. I don't have access to Netflix anymore, but that is one of my favorite movies. And am I pissed at streaming services not providing DVDs anymore? So I can only watch this if I have Netflix. And if Netflix deletes it, I'll never get to see it again because it's like one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I'm going to be pissed. And I want a DVD of it. So
I understand.
That's today's platform that I think is the most important thing to platform.
Yes.
Felicia and I just had a redacted conversation. Don't worry about it. So we're back into, I think we're done with the weatherman. We figured out his situation. Eric is hot. He dances. He's there. Yes. He's a cameraman. Cool. Let's say he's like the head of cameramen. They were like, he's the hottest. He gets to have the job. Welcome to corporate America. So
this is in this economy, you gotta be hot to succeed. only in the cameraman part of Clatfartburg is that. There's a real attractiveness hierarchy in the cameramen. Believe it or not.
Exactly. If we have hot people on screen, everyone else looks ugly and it's not fair to them. This is the best way to keep attractiveness levels at a consistent level and for no one to hate themselves when they're on screen next to Eric. The one time he came out as like a quick production to hand someone a paper because they missed it, that almost ruined everything. He went a little viral there. Now, he was wearing a mask. This was during, like, the COVID times, you know, so no one could fully know who he was. But you can't hide that body, yaddy, yaddy. So, like, this was a problem. So they were like, no more hotties. So some really good weathermen have been turned away because they're so hot. Anyway.
Wait, so they don't want hot people on screen so Eric can shine when he comes on for 2 seconds?
No. They don't want to hurt everyone else's ego, and also it's really hard if you're like, yeah, we're all like attractive, ha ha ha, and then you bring on a god and you're like, wow, we all look like ugly potato people.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what they're trying to avoid. This isn't to say that only uggos work at CFB News. Let's be real. Eileen and Genevieve
they're smoking.
They if they did a magazine, they'd be in it.
If they did a magazine, they'd be in it.
But they're not on the Clatfartburg magazine. They're in CFB News.
Yes.
So it's different. They kind of fucking hate the magazine. They're like, the magazine is stupid. The written word, pff, come on.
Boring.
You can't get...
I don't have time
the
to
written
read.
word doesn't get across the same vibe as the spoken word.
Yeah, and to be clear, Genevieve and Eileen are also not journalists. Like, they don't
Oh,
really...
no.
Eileen is more of a journalist than Genevieve is. Genevieve is here for the check.
Yes.
She's a home and
Well,
gardens
Genevieve used to just do... I was going to say, she used to do the home and gardens thing. So her whole aspect is just interacting with the news segment, and it's usually structured, right? If you're doing like the craft segment or talking about something, it's a very structured thing. So a lot of what she's doing now is like, here are your lines, whatever. Eileen does do a little more investigation. She did run after Jim Parsons' animatronic and got lost in the corn maze.
Yes.
She's not great at it, but, you know, I do think her biggest accomplishment was separately finding the thing in the woods.
Yes.
And then letting herself kind of get kidnapped, though. I think she is a scaredy cat, but she tries really hard to push through that.
Yeah.
And I think that's her, like, one of her many, many, many weaknesses that she has.
Many weaknesses.
So many layers to this woman, 98 of them severe flaws, and that's okay. That's fine. She's hot though, so there's something.
She's got that going for her. So
she's Clatfartburg hot, you know, so that's something else. Who else is at this table? Who else is at the staff meeting? We've got the director, who is just a person who I think, honestly, I want this director to have Lorne Michaels energy.
Okay.
Like, there's just a very minimal emotion shown, and whatever the equivalent in news would be of if you happen to make Lorne Michaels laugh, which is like almost impossible. You've like really you're like, you did it.
Yeah. Well, if you get her to say, now that's a scoop, you've really got something. I feel the need to share with the class. My only name that came to my head was immediately Patricia Patty Cakes, and that's so bad. It's bad, and we don't have to go with that, and I don't want us to go with that. But
yeah, usually with a bad idea, I go yes. But I'm thinking maybe hold.
I'm glad, and I'm glad you're regulating.
Put the patty cakes on back burner, and we'll make sure they don't burn. And
because that's a character from a children's novel, not a person, a human person.
I'm thinking Sasha. Sasha.
Paul Bossa
and
Nova,
then,
okay. Patricia Patty Cakes in the garbage. I like to see where our lines are, you know?
Patricia Patty Cakes is a doll who sings songs about making bread.
I don't need convincing. I'm on the same page with you.
Hey dolls, it's me, Patricia. You can call me Patty Cakes. And I'm over here to talk about the news. If you ask me to do patty cake baker, man, I'm gonna fucking cut your fingers and shove them in your ear holes so I don't have to hear you fucking talk again. It does give me a visceral reaction, though, of thinking of a doll with rosy cheeks, and that makes me want to burn it. So.
No.
But maybe she can show up elsewhere. I don't think director, but let's hold on to that name, actually, because I think she could show up elsewhere.
You want to have a hold on Patricia Patty Cakes. I think she does sound.
Yes. Okay, she does sound.
That's it. We don't need to elaborate on her.
I literally was about to be like, and how hot are the sound people? But that's okay. We don't need to do that.
We don't need to establish this.
Not a thing we're going to do. So why would we do that?
Fascist beauty hierarchy. Yeah.
I was like, we're making the ugly series. Are you ready? Ugly, pretty special.
We're actually making a really deep statement about the expectations placed on people.
I'm Botticini Barge, and I'm here to talk about why is everyone so fucking weirdly hot in their own distinct
Botticini would
apartments.
not report on that. Botticini is above it. He does actual, real good journalism. Investigative.
You bring up a good point.
For reference. No, there's no point saying for reference. If they've gotten this far in this episode, which is completely unintelligible to a new listener,
yeah,
you know who Botticini Barge is. It's fine.
Yeah. He's the son of Herbert Barge, and he does documentaries. I think we've actually done a decent job with providing some background here.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I just get exhausted by the extensiveness of lore we've built.
It's fair. This is fun for everybody, too. I, in my head now, because we have this spreadsheet going on, we're trying to update, which is very hard to keep up with because we come up with, like, many fun things, which is great, but it's hard sometimes to be like, oh gosh, we're editing, and now it's like, oh god, I have to think of all the people, and it's fine. But I am trying to think of like, what is the one sentence summary I can say if this thing pops up, because it's like the vibe is to be like, we have to, here's the rich beautiful story, and it's like, yes, but how do I force myself to say it in 3 words or less or whatever?
Yeah.
And I am not a beauty pageant queen. I am not succinct, so but I'm thinking about it.
Remember, we're the people who did like 100 or so episodes on Wonka. We're not succinct people.
Yeah, no.
Actually, what we're doing right now is massively restrained in comparison.
Yes. Now, is it funny that we've talked about how we're not able to be constrained for a while now, when we're well past the point of having to focus on it?
And the point has been made.
Perhaps.
The point has been made extensively.
Assumed, even, I would say.
I would say assumed by considering we got to episode 25. You know what I mean? Like,
you would say. So, yes. But anyway, yeah, Sasha. I'm throwing that out as a name for the director.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. And we don't have to have a last name if we don't want to, but if you have a silly name you want, I'm so for it. But
Sasha,
she can be Sasha, and she can just...
Sasha Schneebly. I'm only in Goofy Town today, man.
Schneebly. I'm just remembering all the times I came up with a name and you were like, that's crazy. That's silly. Let's get
I think
the
I
name
stole that
generator.
from School of Rock.
Now we're just plagiarizing. Look, this is an established creative... Wait, can CFB News, the staff meeting...
Sasha Dory Forrest. How about that, man?
It's Sasha Dory Forrest, everybody. You know me because I hired you and we work here on a daily basis.
Do you want to know what Dory Forrest is, Elaine?
What
a
is
sculpture
it?
of a spear bearer.
Oh!
It's
What a
so
very
specific.
specific name. Why wouldn't you just... I feel like it's not that hard to just be like, oh, look, it's a sculpture of a spear
But
bearer.
she's like a spear bearer with her looks, and her eyes are like spears, and they spear you through with their judgment.
Wow.
And I'm going to forget what that word is immediately. And it's off my screen. So, Dory
Julia Louis Dreyfus, fishy.
Dory Forrest.
Dory Forrest. Like the fish. So Sasha's like, okay, I would like us to start with very quick thing. We can no longer start newscasts with the lyrics from Limp Bizkit. Eileen, if you could please refrain from doing that. It is not considered funny, especially since you're doing I would argue, a pretty serious delivery, as serious as you are capable of. Our shining star, though.
Elaine, I do need to hear that. I'm so sorry. But if you're going to say that, I need to hear it.
Okay, let me learn a Limp Bizkit song. I know them. Do they do the cut my life into pieces?
No, Limp Bizkit's
Fuck.
weirder than that.
Oh, life like this, it's hard.
You
Right.
got the voice, yeah.
Oh, but
I
she
could do
knew
it
it was
in
going
her
to be one
voice.
of those days. Hi, everybody. I'm Eileen Wurst. As you can see over here, we have a broken road. The road ahead works sign turned out to be false. There was a little bit of a cave-in. It was 2 feet deep. It's not bad, but you will see that someone's Ford Fiesta did take a little bit of a dip. And it's just one of those days. And one of those days. And you could say that this Ford Fiesta, when it went to Cracker Barrel, instead of being a little party, turned into a Limp Bizkit.
I didn't peg her as being a Limp Bizkit fan.
No, Eileen, we cannot do that due to licensing and also keeping our news integrity. So
audience retention, Eileen, yeah.
Audience retention, it's very important. So if you could keep that working, thank you.
Eileen, Genevieve in meetings just says a lot of buzzwords and goes, yeah, afterwards. Like, B2B marketing, yeah. Like, it just...
She's in the whole, like, yeah, Q2 KPIs, I think, are looking pretty well. And looks like those CROs are really picking up with those CPCs, you know? The cost per click is going up with the CPLs as well as the ROAS. So, and the marketing department's just like, actually...
we don't do any of that.
we don't do that, but that's okay.
Are they tax funded? I mean, they have to be.
I have no idea how news stations work.
Yeah, let's not think about it. Let's not open that box. Let's not think about it.
Oh gosh, because if we get into taxes and infrastructure,
I'm gonna take over this whole fucking episode.
This episode goes.
You thought I wasn't concise before. Oh, get ready.
Oh, you wait.
Oh, get ready. I'm gonna put so many clauses in.
Oh my god. Okay. We're a decent way in. I'm thinking maybe we have enough people. We know the rest is just staff. Right?
Yeah, we just need to talk about this 50th anniversary celebration.
Yeah, so it's the 50th anniversary. So I think that they have booked a fancy dinner, but this is more about like, you know, maybe we go to the places that had iconic news moments and we interview people who were maybe part of the stories, or we find the old reporters if they retired and we talk to them on location. Now, some of these places are a little tricky. One of them happened in the middle of the lake. This is when Bobby used to go out there, Bobby Bowie, because he made the buoys in the lake.
Bobby Bowie.
And Bobby Bowie had actually made a third buoy that looked like the Queen of England, and it was so gorgeous that they actually created a Bobby Bowie decoration, like kind of like a little, not like a festival, but a little night where you go decorate your own baby buoy and put your baby buoy out there to be the baby buoy for Bobby Bowie beautification, whatever, Baba Boo. And so, but what happened was all the buoys were out there, that there were so many buoys and when the canoes and the like kayak tour came through, that actually became this obstacle course that was a lot. But then it actually turned out that this is what really inspired Bobby Bowie's best friend, Blair, to become a professional kayaker in the Olympics. Yes, that's right. In this time and place of truth of this real place, kayaking is an Olympic sport. And why shouldn't it be? You fucking turn over. You got to turn yourself back over. Are you kidding me? If I'm a turtle, if that happens, I'm staying on my back and I'm drowning. Okay? Bobby Bowie could have gotten got by an eddy. You know?
I feel like I'm watching a one-woman show. That sounded like more passive aggressive. It wasn't meant passive aggressively. I meant it positively. I know you understand that, but I wanted everyone at home to understand that as well.
I think since half of this episode is also kind of pulling back the curtain, if an alliteration happens to me, it's like giving me 3 energy points every time I do it.
Yeah, so
right?
you just were like innovating. That was like you got the golden mushroom in Mario Kart and you kept fucking hitting it.
No, 100%. I was just going to compare it to Mario Kart. Actually, when you're running through the coins, it's like diddle-ling. Yeah, and you just keep getting like star, mushroom, star, bullet, star, lightning. That's what goes on in my brain. That's what happens, and then I come back to ground.
And yet you hated on Patricia Pattycakes.
We'll see, that one didn't spark joy. That one gave me the fucking little honker
like
you get.
We're pulling back the curtain of CFB News hastily and unconcisely. We are once again pulling back the curtain on ourselves and saying, what are our instincts as podcasters? We're doing really a deep dive, a report on ourselves.
It's also a lot of people don't know, when we record, we put a whole curtain around ourselves. No one can see what happens here.
Nuh-uh.
Not happening at all. That's why it's always stuffy when we record as well. Curtains everywhere. Curtains. Corduroy curtains. Curtains. Anyway, so CFB News, they have a jingle, and it was made with a jingle tier. Obviously, you've heard the background news music, but we haven't heard the theme yet, and you're not going to hear it played now because no way in hell will there be time to make a theme song. But I imagine it's maybe something a little spicy, you know, like a bing bing bing, you know, bing 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 bing. Bing, bing. Wait. CFB are all musical notes. I just don't know how to sing a note. If I had my oboe, I'd be ready to go, but I don't know what the sound of. Can I get a quick internet guitar on my phone to play CFB? And then similar to NBC. Okay, guitar online. Elaine, you have GarageBand. What are you fucking doing, you goddamn idiot?
I like that you're going for guitar and not piano to give it a sort of indie vibe. I'm playing the CFB News intro at the open mic night.
Actually, I should do piano because I don't know how to play guitar, but I understand where notes are on a piano. You bring up a really good point.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
You bring up a good point. Now, I don't want smart piano. I just want the dumb, basic bitch piano. I'm just going to click on it and we'll see what happens. Okay, now this is a conundrum. We have B flat or B diminished minor. There's no... So it can be... Or it could be... Oh, that's horrible. No. Okay, it should be... CFB News.
It's very Schoolhouse Rock.
Do you guys remember that Wonka Watch won an award? Isn't that crazy that we're award-winning podcasters?
No, we won an award.
Anyway,
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
we
forgot.
won an award and we were nominated for another one. And the award we won the next year, Jason Bateman and his podcast won.
That's right.
So.
Yes, I forgot about that lore of ours. This is a real messy energy episode.
It's wild. It's silly. It's like
so the 50th anniversary. So the 50th anniversary. I'm thinking they do a really shitty promo where they're all in front of green screens. I'm just taking my cues from all I know about news is watching the newsreader.
They're all slowly crossing their arms, like slow-mo crossing their arms.
And like half of them have an alcohol problem because that seems to be a consistent.
Yeah, you know what? There's some ugly blazers out there. You wouldn't expect it. You'd think they'd have it together at this point, but they don't. Ugly blazers. It's what's the word when it's bad and it's like a disease?
An addiction.
It's a problem.
Affliction. A poison.
It's a poison. It's a poison.
Is that the word you were looking for?
It's close enough.
Infection?
It's a problem was good enough. I'm not. We don't need to make words complicated, you know?
And we're so concise.
We're really concise, and that's not a problem.
I didn't offer 6 thesaurus alternatives for a single word and stop our podcast to a flaming halt.
A flaming halt. A flaming halt? That's kind of fun. I feel like a flaming halt is a really good like drag race like dance move.
Yeah.
I can see it,
is that
right?
not a phrase? In my head,
I've never heard
Sometimes
coming to
I
a
just
flaming
combine
halt,
frames
but
together and I think they're
flaming halt's really fun. I like it. Oh my god, it's one of Eileen's favorite indie bands. They give her Limp Bizkit vibes.
I love flaming halt. Okay, so 50th anniversary. I think they do that. I think they have Herbert Barge come back, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see what wild stuff Herbert Barge is going to get up to on the screen." But the Herbert Barge hosted day is just like a fucking PowerPoint, and people tune out really quick because it's not exciting.
He does have a second book out that he's promoting.
Yeah, and he just like got a JPEG of himself with a thumbs up next to the book.
Yeah, everything's blurry. It's bad.
Yeah,
but like in the good way. The way that like
280p. He's doing it via slide. He's doing it via overhead projector. He's just moving it by hand.
We're gonna do it the old way. That's not his voice. Who was that? Anyway,
maybe should we have something happen between Eric and Eileen at this event?
You know, I love a little rom-com moment.
I think that could be good.
Embarrassing. Okay, so maybe we're at the celebration and maybe we're taking a moment, cameras down. We're actually like honoring the staff. Maybe we have like a separate film crew that's like been brought in. Like, you know, maybe this is happening at the Widgeon, which is the local hotel, or something like that. But maybe they're maybe at the same table because maybe Eileen's family couldn't make it, you know, and that's fine. It's not that they did a whole little special about Eileen and they were like, you know, Clatfartburg's most loyal reporter, you know, but it's fine. Look, it's okay. Kathleen had like pneumonia or whatever. And so, you know, but.
And Genevieve is a little annoyed that their pitches for her saying, and maybe we can call it like a new era when I came on and nobody bought on that. So she's a little pissed that people didn't do that. So she has called up the person she had a summer tryst with from the Faxville auditors. What's her name? It's a woman. I don't remember her name, but she's I'm sure it's in the spreadsheet, but I don't feel like pulling it up. It's the star player from the Factsville Auditors.
Yes.
And Genevieve has brought her as her date, which is problematic because there's still a lot of beef with the Factsville Auditors. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and they're also having a weird time, I imagine.
Oh, no. They're not like an established couple. This is like the first time they've hung out since they hooked up 3 times one summer.
Yeah. It's wild that hockey accepted. But that's already saying things. So they're having their own hockey romance situation of who knows what messiness is happening there. Eileen and Eric ends up, he was like gonna film and they're like, no, you're part of the crew, like go sit. And he's like, I have to be in front of the camera. They're like, you won't be highlighted. He's like, oh, okay. So he's just like looking at this empty room, and then Eileen catches his eye and waves him over. And he sits next to her, and inside he's like, how can I be sitting next to the biggest star in Clatfartburg? Which, if he thinks she's the biggest star in Clatfartburg, marriage, 5 babies, house, deed,
truly.
Winnebago, Viking River cruise, they're in.
Yeah.
they're locked. But what's an incident that could happen? I imagine either like a spilled food, or maybe Eileen goes up to give a speech and in usual Eileen fashion, it is the most nonsensical thing and people don't actually know when she ends. So she starts clapping for herself, and that's when everyone else knows to clap for her.
Yeah.
And she seems kind of unperturbed, but maybe this is the first time that Eric, since, you know, he's not separated by the camera, now he's looking at her with his eyes.
Wow.
For the first time. Because he only looks at her through a camera. He averts his eyes otherwise. He sees her for the first time. You know?
He really sees her. And the audience pans, and they get him in the audience. Like the camera person gets him in the audience on camera because as like a reaction shot. And whenever he's on camera, he gets those, you know how in old movies people get sparkles that show up on their face and things like that?
Yes,
like Barbara
like the
Streisand.
weird glam shot that happens for no reason.
He gets a glam shot. And that doesn't happen for anyone else, just for Eric, the cameraman. His face just does that.
It was actually a filter. That's really what it was. I mean, he's so beautiful, but really it just always changed the filming quality when he came on.
There's really something, a camera respects Eric, you know?
The whole crowd goes, ooh. Ooh. But Eric doesn't even realize he's on the screen. He's just looking at Eileen, and he's about to say something, but then his eyes catches the screen and he freezes. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then insert a lot of like basically Notting Hill drama between being a regular normie but except
the hottest regular normie on the planet, which I mean is also Notting Hill. So I mean that's not, you know.
So really, wow, that really is a lot of Notting Hill. Except Eileen is not. I wouldn't say has the punch of Julia Roberts, but and then maybe he like scurries away a little bit, and Eileen, God, I keep wanting to call her Kathleen. Eileen sort of has this moment for the first time where she's like, is this job like getting in the way of the things I actually like also want in life? And maybe she follows him at one point and it's raining and they're outside in the rain. We can pan over to the hockey couple now. What's going on there? How awkward is it? What's up?
I was just going to make a really quick side note about them to undercut the beautiful romance as like, they're outside. And as they're outside, Genevieve, what's something stupid to be arguing about?
The way you folded your napkin, where you put your napkin when you stood up. The parking situation, you backed in versus front parking.
And while they're outside in the rain, Genevieve Bargello and her date from the hockey team are arguing about parking and whether or not it was appropriate to back into the space, as one of them did. Because Genevieve thinks she's a real back out on the way out, but the other person's a back in on the way in. And it's just a real difference of opinion. It really just shows they're not just really compatible people. Genevieve will find her person, but I think she needs to get over herself a little bit first with love to her.
I think there's something different, very deep here. Genevieve wants to back out.
Yes.
She doesn't want to pull in.
Wow.
Shit.
That's
Everyone
really
think
profound.
about how you like to park and think if it has deeper meaning. I'm usually just terrified every time I'm parking, so...
Yeah. And what does it mean if you're a pull through 2 spaces to go into the other space person?
I think that means you're a fucking genius. You're a scientist.
That's actually a secure attachment style. You're an incredible person. You're mentally stable.
You're mentally stable. You're gorgeous. You're
you
hot.
know how
you're
to
successful.
assess risk. You're financially sound.
You're
gonna meet your soulmate in 2 months.
Your credit score is gorgeous. You're gonna win $1 million.
And it's gonna be bright and sunny tomorrow. And that's what we say every day, ladies. Am I right, at this yoga class?
Yes. Okay, everybody. Now exhale with lion breath.
Okay. Eileen and Eric. Out in the rain.
That's right. Time to make an emotional thing happen between two characters that are played by me. So Kathleen's maybe Eileen's like, Eric,
I'm just pushing my computer further.
Felicia's like, I don't even want to be part of this, and just like her computer keeps shoving away and it's just showing her ceiling. I can't even see her. She's like, I don't want to fucking deal with this shit. You're so tiny. Here, wait, I can do it too. And this actually makes me feel safer. Eric.
Sorry.
Eric.
This is real sleepover energy today.
To pull back the curtain, guys, Felicia, I, in our recording situation, we can both see we're in the bottom left corner of our cameras. Just little heads.
Yeah.
And I know that really enhanced this entire experience for you. And you're welcome.
And we're so concise.
So concise. Eric, every time we do a report, and I'm looking at the camera, and I'm telling the camera about the news, and I'm telling the news, and sometimes like at the boot warehouse, the cow sale, and all those cows started stampeding. You saved my life. I could have died, but I didn't. I know, and I chose to have you not die because I love. It would have been bad for the camera. You're right. No, I can't do this anymore. Eric, please. Sometimes I think you wanted me to die. No, I don't want to. How did you get there so fast? How did you bounce that cow off of me? What freakish strength you have. I've been researching. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm telling you, you've got fucking strength. You can't be. You glue with the camera. What are you saying? I can't understand you. I think you're a vampire.
So she thinks Eric's a vampire.
I mean, look at the logic.
Because he's shoved
gorgeous.
A heavy cow off of her, and he's gorgeous, and he makes the camera glam.
Yeah. Now, look. Eileen is not what I would say.
You made me laugh so hard it gave me a headache.
Intelligent with it. I like popped a throat thing. That wasn't fun. It was weird.
And also, I didn't fully understand what I was laughing at.
Basically, Eileen was just like, look, Eric, sometimes, you saved me from the cows, but I have questions. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know why you saved me. Because we try to talk and then you don't really talk back to me, or you seem cold and distant, and yet you do these things, these small things, you save me from cows.
Yeah.
You redo a take when I look bad,
Naturally.
We do multiple takes, so many. We're there for hours just to get a 5-minute segment. And you're impossibly strong. I mean, you're able to carry my backpack. I literally carry a brick with me for protection. I don't know how you do this. And when the camera's on you, you just randomly glow. Okay, that's not normal, and I don't understand. And then you don't want to be in front of the camera, so I have to just assume that you're trying to hide your identity, and that maybe you're not a vampire. I mean, I'm not stupid, but also, I mean, I'm really open to the possibilities.
This is a helpful recap.
Did that? Okay. I don't know how no one could understand me. I was so eloquent.
I feel like a new person.
Now, look, did I think it'd be funny if he was part of one of those vampire clubs?
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't think he's into it.
So
but
he's not a vampire, and maybe he confesses that to her, where it's no, I'm just motivated by something else. I don't know.
What is it?
What is it? What is it?
Genevieve, I think you've had too much wine. Why are you out here?
What is it?
I'm just looking at the way I park. I'm looking at the way I park. Do you think I park beautifully?
Don't you think my parking job was good, Eileen?
Are you a vampire? That'd make more sense. All right, I'm going to my car. I'm not driving.
What are you doing?
I'm going to take a nap in the back.
Okay. In the trunk. It's cozy
In the
there.
trunk. Yeah.
Well, that's how Genevieve's late to work the next day. No, I don't think Eric's okay, clearly Eric is not a vampire, but I don't think he's part of the vampire club either. I think maybe this is really just speaking to Eileen always having these fantasies.
I really thought it was going to have a really romantic conclusion, and then you went hard turn into I think you're a vampire, which really took me off guard.
I think it's cute. I think it's going to be cute because Eric's going to be like, no, I'm not a vampire. No, I'm not a vampire. Oh, you're so funny. You're the only one who understands my humor. Because my humor is the kind that I don't understand is funny until after it's happened and people are laughing at me. That's how you know it's really genuine and organic. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not good at expressing myself. I hide behind the camera because I would rather capture that moment for other people than ever be part of it. But when I'm recording you, when I'm capturing you, but like not in like a kidnapper way because it sounds really creepy right now. But you know, like it's like if I'm able to record you and share you with the world, but I never get to have you and talk to you, just you and me, because every time you're reporting the news, I feel like you're just telling me what's happening. And sometimes you're really wrong about what's happening, but I don't care. I don't care because I
Oh my God, just say it. I'm sorry. The trunk was uncomfortable.
I love you, Eileen. Eric, reporting live from CFB News. Eileen Worst is in love with you. The rain's falling. They kiss. But because they're straight, no clapping. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No clapping for the straights.
No.
But they kiss. Ooh. What are they going to do about the HR? Ooh.
The shitty song from Notting Hill to be playing. She blah 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 blah.
Genevieve pulls it up on her phone. She's playing it from her truck.
If my phone wasn't across the room, it'd be playing on the podcast right now. She blah 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 blah. Wow.
So that was concisely told in a very formulaic way.
And not in a way where it fell to pieces within the last 5 minutes and it made so much sense, you know?
Yeah.
I would say not our best episode for wow, they really tell a cohesive story, but we brought it together in the end.
Yeah, like, you know, not to tell you what to do, guys. I like that we always offer like marketing tips for you guys to help this podcast go somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
we're
wild.
not doing it.
But look, maybe this isn't, you know, this one, while it didn't have too much background, we were able to explain it. Good for us. But we were so proud that we were actually able to do that on this podcast.
That we talked about that more than...
We talked about that more than maybe some other stuff. But you know what? This just means we get to talk about this later again.
Exactly.
There's even more to discover. We've planted a lot of seeds. And yeah,
when we
maybe
recap this whole episode for 30 minutes in a future episode, it'll feel great.
Yeah, it's basically
so
like we right now are the Clatfartburg museum parents.
Yeah.
This is their episode.
Yeah, this is the vibe that podcast has.
This is the vibe of their
But
Big
worse.
Bang Theory episode that's like 4 hours long, and then Otter She Better Don't summarizes it in
Now,
5 minutes.
speaking of that, this is a great segue
Yes.
because we're
Yes.
outroing now. Our bonus content
Yes.
for this month, we did another episode of Otter She Better Don't. Honestly, not to be biased, I think some of our best work. Where we just talk as Becky and Harper for an hour. It's Becky's 21st birthday. Some tensions are revealed between the two. Who is going to get Lewis the baseball boy? Big drama.
Big.
I'm trying to think what's something to entice you in. Becky discusses Love is Blind, leaving a man at the altar. Harper discusses Love is Blind, leaving a man at the altar is one of her top 3 feminism moments. And they try to start a campaign to give canaries iPad minis.
Yep. It hits on all their favorite topics, and they probably say some of the worst stuff they've ever said.
Yeah, we did put a disclaimer that they don't represent our views. So,
and that's how you know it's good. So yeah, definitely recommend that. And we also have like commentary tracks and stuff on there too if you need movie assistance. Is not the word I wanted. I'll let you take it away. I'm going to step out of this.
1776 Impromptu was another recent one. They're all the good times. So you can check that out over there on Clatfartburg.com. You can look at all of our bonus content, or you can grab them a la carte if you're interested. With that all being said, tell your friends about this podcast. If you have any thoughts, opinions, things you'd like to share, give us an email at clatfartburg@gmail.com. But
thank you so much for visiting. Just remember, I'm Eileen Wurst, signing off for CFB Nnnnews, and I'm also here with
Genevieve Bargello. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to do someone else. I was really confused. Paul Bossanova.
I'm with Patricia Pattycakes.
It's me, Patricia Pattycakes. I smoke 8 packs a day, and I love running sound at this news station.
Hey, Patricia, it's me, Paul Bossanova. Let me take one of those cigarettes. Nom, nom,
Get
nom,
the
nom,
fuck
nom.
off me, Paul.
Oh my God, she's clawing my eyes out. Oh,
Did anybody steal my pens?
Hi, I'm Sasha. We're now searching for a new weatherman. If you're interested and you haven't done it before, go ahead. If you have done it before, actually, go ahead and submit your application. Just say you have, and we'll consider you. Thank you so much. Thank you for visiting. The weather is going to be weathering, and this is news. Signing out.